everybody. Happy Wednesday. Another fantastic Wine Wednesday with me and Kevin.
January.
Such
a different month, as you'll see from our pack today. We're focusing a little more on value, it looks like, this week, which is probably pretty smart, because I looked at my Visa bill over the holidays, and I definitely need to, let's say, just explore the world of value wine. How's that?
I always love it when the Christmas bills come rolling through, and I'm still a little bit thirsty. So hence Thirsty and Thrifty, 6-pack of all red wine, because it is the heart of winter. While the Chinook is, blown through, and it's a nice little break from -30, we're still kind of gravitating to those red wines. So we wanted to put out something that was all red wine for you, keep you nice and toasty by the fire, and not break the bank.
Well, I think you did a pretty good job here. You want
you.
To run through these?
Yeah, we should just give a little touch on them, because we had our little survival packs, but I think that name is really tired, even though we still feel like we're surviving.
We are. Hopefully we've survived. When do we get to put that in past tense?
Oh my gosh, I know, it's coming. But something from all different countries. So we've got a little Portuguese blend, so some Tempranillo in there, and just kind of keep you nice and warm, really smooth, soft, kind of medium-bodied. Loving that wine. Yeah,
Vera does a great job. All organic too, right?
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing when you look at the price point on that wine, less than $20, right?
Yep.
So amazing value there.
One of my favorite Cabernets from the south of France, from one of our favorite winemakers, Jeff Carrel, $19.95 on the shelf. You cannot beat this for just like super killer great value cab.
Yeah, what's kind of fun about that too, right, is it's not the California style of cab, it's a very French style of cab, so almost drinks more like a less expensive Bordeaux, right? It's all about spice and freshness and elegance, and it's just like, there's a lot of wine in there for $20.
Totally. Another personal favorite to drink and to say, Galliopo from Le Brandy.
Galliopo, that's my, that's like when it's Wednesday and I'm too lazy to cook dinner and I order pizza. That's the wine I
every time.
Go to every time, right? You can't beat that one. So good choice. You're on a roll. What's next?
Thank you. Relmu Merlot, so one of our newer producers to us in the last few months, coming out of South America. Fantastic little Merlot. It just gives you a little bit more of that like plummy fruit quality without being like overly heavy and over the top. Another great little weeknight wine.
Yeah, sometimes like, I know maybe the wine snob in me gets a little unexcited about Chilean Merlot, but I have to say, I was shocked how good that was when I tasted it. And at, what's the price on that one?
That's $15.
$15. I mean, it's really hard to find wine that's really interesting at that price point. I thought, great wine overall, but actually a really good example of Merlot. It smells exactly like what you'd expect from Merlot. There's a lot going on in that
you
bottle.
can blind taste that and you know what you're getting.
It's Merlot. It's a great little example. Like you see California crank out a Merlot at $15. It tastes like that. It's not easy to do. So
good luck.
That's an impressive little wine, not to be overlooked.
The other one with crazy good value is the Amalia Grenache.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is $13.95 on the shelf. Little Spanish Grenache, and like wins every single time. I am always happy with that. That's my mom's babysitting wine.
There
That's
you
what
go.
I get her.
Yeah, it's a nice little. I mean, Grenache from Spain typically is a pretty good value, right? And there's a lot of choices out there in Grenache, but most of them are kind of in that kind of 16 to 20 range. So when you get into that $14 range, it's pretty. The expectations sometimes go down. I didn't see a big difference between that and some of the ones that are $3 or $4 more. So that is, I mean, I'm sure most of you have had it if you're shopping here, because it's just such a great deal. But if you haven't, don't miss that one. It's dynamite.
And then last but not least, fan favorite, always, Heartland Stickleback, little blend from Australia. And again, like it's the one in the pack that's going to have like a little more spice, a little more oomph to it, a bit more weight. So if you're doing anything that you want to kind of like pair with a bigger like red meat style dish, or you're doing steak night or something, that one's going to be the one.
Yeah, we forget about Stickleback, right? Because it's a fun wine, and people, it's just been such a big seller for us for so long. I think sometimes we forget to recommend it because we think everyone knows it. But this new vintage is 2019. And there's a lot of pop in this. Like there's some, it tastes like a pretty serious wine. And the fun thing with Stickleback is it's not just, Cab or Shiraz, right? They blend in a few other little sneaky
Yeah, there's a little bit of Legrand in there as well.
Yeah,
pretty unique.
Dolcetto, I think they pop in there. So
fun things.
It's kind of a unique little wine, and don't forget about it because it's fun.
So pick it up, $95 for 6 bottles of wine, under 100.
That is a dynamite deal. Can't do any better than that. So if your Visa bill looks like mine, there you go.
Minimum impact. This is what we're drinking this week.
I'm going to start pulling corks here. What do you want? Ochoa, which is always a super popular wine here. Tell us why you like these wines.
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons that I love these wines. I mean, Spain has great value to start with, but also the wonderful thing that I love about Spanish winemakers is they do all of the work for us. They're not releasing these bottles until they're really ready to drink. So, I mean, for me, it's a problem to throw things in my basement and keep my hands off of it for 10 years.
No discipline.
No discipline, but that's what these guys are doing for us. So, we've got 3 wines from them that we're featuring this week. We've got the La Photo, the 8A series. This is a newer lineup for them. Adriana, who is the 6th generation, the daughter who's the winemaker here now, she wanted to pay homage to her ancestors who kind of paved the way for them. This is actually a photo of her grandfather, Adriano, and all of his friends, because he used to make a special wine just for them that they could drink as friends.
People just don't take pictures like that anymore, you know? I love those old photographs, everyone sitting around having a good time. I think what's interesting for me about this wine, outside of the price point, because at $23, I think it really is one of the best deals in the store, because it really delivers some serious power. They put a little Graciano in this, right?
Just a teeny little bit. It's actually equal parts Tempranillo, Cab Merlot, which we find in the other ones, but of course predominantly Tempranillo and the bigger guys.
Yeah, so Tempranillo is the grape variety you'd expect from this area. Cab Merlot being the more modern grape varieties, right? So we're in Navarra right now, and most people don't really know Navarra well. If you're a bit of a wine person, you've probably heard of Rioja. So Navarra is kind of the natural extension of Rioja as you move just slightly north and east. But Navarra doesn't have really the traditions that you have in Rioja. So number one, it's not as well known internationally, so it's not as expensive. Number two, they have a little more open rules as far as winemaking goes, so you do see some of the international grape varieties blended in there, which gives you like an opportunity to make sort of different expressions, which Ochoa has done a masterful job of. So for me, you get a nice combination of what is traditional winemaking in Spain, and they do a great job aging these for us, because we're in, what, 2012 on both these. So I believe the calendar just flipped, so that makes these wines 10 years old, which is amazing. For $29.95, you're not going to find a lot of wines with 10 years of age on them. And wines that have really like developed and matured, I think this is in a spot where it's like almost fully mature. What do you think?
It smells amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like everything else, right? It gets those tertiary aromas, more of those kind of, leathery, spicy, cigar boxy kind of notes that you really associate more with older wines and wines that cost a little more money. So at $29.95, I understand why this wine flies off the shelf the way it does, because there's no comparison, right? There's nothing else out there to compare it to.
I always think of, the aging process of, holding this back for 10 years. They do a year and a half in barrel. They keep it in bottle for a minimum of 3 years.
Right.
And it's kind of like the idea for me of like braising your meats, right? In winter when you're doing that, it really deepens the flavors. It allows it that time to just kind of like come together and make this beautiful, happy little glass.
For sure. And that's another thing. We're looking at Ochoa, which is an old family winery. So this isn't a big conglomerate. This is a family-owned winery. Farm everything organically. They do everything by hand. So you're really getting all those things that you want in a small production, like handmade wine. So there's really nothing missing here, and the price points, they kind of blow everything else out of the water, which is probably why they're so popular.
100%. As we move into the Grand Reserva.
Yeah, what do we get for our extra $10 here, Robin? I mean, we're going from 29 to 39 here, and it's the same vintage.
Well, the fun thing with the Grand Reserva is they actually don't make it every year.
Right.
They kind of pick their best years. And the grapes that they're using come from the same vineyards as the regular Reserva, but they're really taking like the best of the best. They age it in barrel a little bit longer, they age it in bottle a little bit longer before they're willing to release, although we happen to be on the same vintage this year. And it also, tends to have another like 10 years of life left in it, should you have more discipline than me and keep it up.
There you go. For me, right off the hop, I get a lot more fruit, a lot more power, a lot more concentration. So this one has definitely more focus. If you want something to drink right away, this is definitely in a perfect spot. This one, I think, could still age for quite a bit longer.
For sure.
You get another 5-10 years out of that. So what an awesome deal. You get 10-year-old wine, more time to go. This is available in Magnum 2, which is my preferred format.
Well.
I think throwing one of those in the cellars makes tons of sense. We ordered way more Magnums this year because they sold out too fast last year. So.
And if you need something just for this week or this weekend, $23.95, this guy is the way to go for a little barbecue friendly, you want to share with friends.
There you go. So 3 amazing options. We will have these open all weekend. They are really worth coming in and trying. These are such different wines than we get to have on a week-to-week basis. So nice to taste something older, something really kind of traditional, but has a little bit of a modern spin on it. So come try these Ochoa wines. You're going to love them.
See you soon.